Hey guys, welcome to the video. It is time to finish off the Build-A-Figure Virgil wave of WWE action figures. As I've been saying in the previous videos, I planned to do these unboxings before last Christmas when I first received these figures. Then they were going to be the Royal Rumble special, and then I finally started doing them like, over a month ago, and it's still taken me this long between figures to actually do the next one. But regardless, we got to finish that Virgil off, and that means finishing on the Ridge Holland action figure, and you can tell which one of them was on the top of the pile of figures I have to unbox. Maybe I should de-dust this before we crack into it. There we go. Now, again, I actually won this wave of figures in a giveaway, and I don't think I would have ever touched Ridge Holland if it wasn't for that, apart from, if I had bought the rest of the wave and just needed the last piece for my Virgil, and this was really cheap. That reminds me, we've got to put Virgil in the ring. I'm not a big Ridge Holland guy. However, I'm so glad I did get this figure, because the ideas I've ended up having for him for a gimmick in my figure fed is like right up my alley. We'll get into that in better detail later, but I think it was figure fate that I got this wave, because like I say, otherwise I really probably wouldn't have bothered with Ridge Holland, and yeah, I'm really glad that I did. Anyway, it's the last figure in the wave, of course. We've got the Ridge Holland picture on the front and the side there. We've got the bio on the back. Again, these are US imports, so we do have the bio on the back. He is from Yorkshire in England. He is 6'1", weighs 253 pounds, and his finisher is Northern Grit. It was Fight Night at Royal Rumble 2022, where Ridge the Fridge represented the Brawling Brutes in his Royal Rumble debut. Ridge the Fridge. How did I not like this guy before? And of course, we've got the rest of the wave there, which you can see the openings of in the end screen in the NWOpening playlist, or by having a poke through my channel. There will also be one of them featured in the end screen, probably the Batista one. And as you can see on the image there, we get the head of Virgil with this one. So that is, of course, the final piece that we need to complete our Frankenstein of Virgil over here in the corner. Now, I don't think there's much else to talk about, so let's just crack into this. Oh, this one's like got extra tape at the top, like this has been retaped or something. And will this be the one of 4 where I cut this bit of tape without cutting the box? No. 0-4 with that piece of tape in this wave. We've got the Virgil head there. We can see this is painted pretty well, which is nice because, we don't really get to see that in the packaging. We'll just pop that out the way for now. 1 hand, 2 hands. Face mask. Oh God. I've just seen the facial expression on this figure. It's not great. Ah, don't drop your flat cap. Oh, this plastic piece of... There must have been a plastic piece in the flat cap. Weird. Fell out my hand. Oh, what the hell is that? Look at the knee. Look at the knee pad. That's how it was in the box. Like, I don't know. Can we have a rewind, a flashback? Has that somehow just happened in the unboxing process? I don't think that's possible. So, initial impressions. Why do his teeth look like this? Let's have a zoom in. So, look at this. Like, let's just take another look at the pic, right? I guess this kind of looks like him. But, why the teeth? It kind of looks like I don't know, like a redneck hick kind of character. That would be good for Trash Fed, where I make custom figures, theoretically, of like joke characters. He'd be good for that, like a redneck character in that. But I don't understand it. I guess, I don't think this was an overly popular figure. I can't say I've really heard much of people talking about it. So yeah, I guess I've not heard of this critique before. But yeah, I guess I never really studied the face in all that in detail. And what the heck is going on with that thing? So other than that, I think it looks alright. You know me, I'm getting more and more fond of soft goods as time goes by. However, I do think this jacket's a little bit too big. They could have just made it slightly smaller, and I think it would have looked a lot better, you know, just make it a little bit tighter on him, a little bit, you know, sort of, you know, make this kind of this long instead, cut off like maybe that much material kind of thing, make it that much shorter, and just, you know, so it's not really baggy on the figure, you know, because that's the shortcoming of soft goods really, is when it's definitely my preference, but if it's like really over the top baggy, like Jack's Classic Superstars kind of stuff, that's when it kind of like, you know, it starts being a bit immersion breaking. But you know, he looks cool. It's nice enough. We're gonna pop. If we open the jacket, you can see the almost like Cesaro style gear of the kind of outline trunks with it's almost like a kind of belt decal around the waist, like a little English rose there, and gold trimming around the sides. We got ridge on the back. It's really nice, actually. That looks pretty cool, actually. And we do have more. We have made in Yorkshire on his boots and another English rose, and that will be about where Steve Regal's tattoo is. I don't know, does my figure of him, does he have the tattoo yet at that point? No, Steve Regal does not have a tattoo there, but yeah, that's sort of where William Regal would have his England tattoo. So it kind of, you know, there's a bit of synergy between the two there, almost like an homage to William Regal's tattoo. He's of course got the Billy Club here with the tassels dangling off it. That's nice, that, because back in the day that would have just been, I don't know, like a police one, like a big boss man. He'd have just been given that. Like if it was Jax or something, he'd have just had that chucked in with him, I reckon. But it's nice that they've had the time to put a proper club in with him. We've got the flat cap on the top. Where else would it be? Flat cap on his head. We can't stand up without, apparently. You can see the detail on that. That is the second flat cap we've ever seen on NWOpenings. The first was on NWOpening 4, which was that Sami Zayn figure, which I bought for a custom, which, you know, this, in another universe, this could have ended up as a custom if, you know, I had the figure, if I'd won the giveaway or if I'd bought the figure, but hadn't thought of this gimmick idea for him. You know, he very much could have been a custom. We got the rubber face mask, which is becoming more and more common. Of course, we had a Sheamus with this, a Cody Rhodes being remade with the plastic one, and honestly, initial impressions, it's kind of hard to get on. It doesn't stretch all that much. Yeah, that's right. That's what it looks like. Yeah, it's like a supervillain type thing. Yeah. Well, Fred fussing to be back in the room at least gave me time to somewhat get his mask on straight. I shouldn't have made that joke about the mask still being like half on, because what will probably happen knowing this channel is in 4 years' time, someone will comment saying, obviously that mask is not on correctly. And I'll be like, what was that in reference to again? I have no idea. It was 4 years ago. So there's with the mask on, and I'll be completely honest, I'm probably not going to take that off again anytime soon, although he probably won't be wearing it in the Fed once he appears. That's as best as straight as we can get it on. And one thing I should have talked about before I put it on is the paint condition. His face seems to be pretty good. The details seem to be all in the right place, apart from those teeth. Those teeth could have done with being in the mouth. The paint on his trunks looks pretty good as well, of course. You know, just to finish off the accessories, we've got the 2 closed fists to go with the open grip hands he has. Let's see what he looks like with the jacket off. Trying not to get those Billy Club tassels stuck in the... Oh, I've dropped his cap again. I'm sure the Sami Zayn didn't have this much trouble keeping its cap on. Not that he was a Sami Zayn for very long. Right. Put him down over there. Let's take a look at the jacket. You can see it is very... The way that they've kind of done it is that it's like black and kind of like a very slightly sparkly grey. You can see it's more sparkly on the inside, of course. That would be a nice Jericho jacket on the inside out. But yeah, you can see that's kind of how they did it. And they've got the kind of leather collar as well, which is nice. Gives it a little bit more shape. Gives it a little bit more structure. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. You can see under the jacket he doesn't have any elbow pads on, which I kind of don't mind. In terms of like the filming, the Fed process, honestly, elbow pads just kind of get in the way. I'm tempted to just take them off every figure I have. Early impressions, literally just looking at the figure, I'm feeling confident that his shoulders are both going to move. So I'm not sure about his legs though. We've had a bit of trouble standing him up. You can see how wide stanced he is right now. Well, let's find out. So first of all, we'll do the head. Now the head's a little bit, it seems to be very common for Mattel where the head is like, it's very floppy, but it does hold its shape, so it's alright. From a filming capacity, this cap is appalling. Like, if I was animating him, moving his head all the way around, that cap is going to do my head in, because it's just so loose on his head, and it's probably also going to push that mask further over his eyes. Not that, as I said earlier, I would be using the mask in my Fed. Shoulder, open out, perfect. Elbow is fine. I was trying to get that bicep though. And the bicep is fine. And this shoulder, up and out, look at that! Was that 1 for 4 on the whole wave? Every other one had a dodgy shoulder, I think, and almost every Mattel figure nowadays does. Bicep is fine. Elbow is a little tiny bit loose, but all in all, not too bad. And the ab joint, it's a bit loose, but like I say, it's probably one of the figures I would have chose to have a loose joint more than any of the others. And the waist almost always is nice and sturdy nowadays. We've got the leg out and the knee, another really stiff knee. Seeing a lot of those recently. Boot swivel is fine, and the boot moves! Unbelievable. That's like full range of motion. That's really good. Don't see that too often in the Mattel line. Leg is fine. Another stiff knee. Boot is fine, and the other foot moves just as well. And it's just as well. So all in all, my summary of this figure, as I say, I'm not a big Ridge Holland guy. And even with this idea for him in my figure fed, I'm still not a big Ridge Holland guy. But this figure, I think it's pretty good. The head isn't blowing me over, but it's fine. It is Ridge Holland. We've got nice decals on the trunks. He comes with the club, the face mask, the flat cap, and the jacket. And, of course, the spare hands. That's a lot of accessories for a Mattel figure nowadays. Now, obviously, it's not quite as much as, like, the new Sandman or something. Obviously, that's crazy. But it's significantly more so than the Batista in the same wave, which came with nothing. Or the Beth Phoenix in the same wave, which came with nothing. Or the Brock Lesnar in the same wave, which came with nothing. I'm pretty sure, you know, it wouldn't have been beyond the realms of possibility to at least have, like, just the jacket and the club. Or the hat and the jacket. Anything like that, any kind of combo like that, I would have expected from Mattel. Getting all of the pieces, that's really, really nice. And speaking of all of the pieces, we've, of course, got the Virgil figure piece as well. So yeah, I do think this is a really good figure, as much as I'm not a huge fan of Ridge Holland. And if you are a fan of Ridge Holland, I would advise you to pick it up. Now, what I like to do to finish my figure unboxings is talk about what they are going to be doing in my figure fed, at least theoretically, in a timeline where I actually do film it. As I say, Ridge Holland I got an idea. I thought about it for about 4 seconds, because, you know, I was going to have this figure anyway, so I thought I might as well make use of it. Kind of like Anthony playing for Manchester United. They've got him anyway, so they might as well sub him on. And it hit me like immediately what I was going to do with him. I just read Yorkshire, England on the back of the box, and I was like, yep, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to team him up with the foul-mouthed other Northern Englander in my fed, Wade Barrett. And I think it just makes sense in a fed that's splintering into factions as mine currently is. It makes sense for Wade Barrett to have a friend in his protection of the heavyweight championship, shadowing him out a little bit there, Wade, which will happen in the fed as well, to be honest. This is something I was planning on doing, like giving Wade Barrett some friends, some other loudmouthed, like, English people as friends. I wouldn't be surprised if Pac joins them at some point as well, but just more ridiculous, like, foul-mouthed, stupid, crass humour between the lot of them, and Ridge Holland is going to slide right in there. And then there's another level to the plan which I didn't even foresee. And I was just thinking one day about the UK brand Holland and Barrett, and realised that I was planning on teaming up Holland and Barrett. Literally up to that point, the only reasoning behind it was that, you know, he's from Yorkshire, he's Northern English. That's the kind of person I wanted to team up with Wade Barrett. The Holland and Barrett thing is perfect. Obviously, it's a joke that only people in the UK get. You know, it's written itself. So there's a decent chance that Wade Barrett's going to go from selling candy, yes, that's something that actually happens in my fed if you haven't actually watched it, to selling apothecary items. But, you know, again, we'll see if I actually end up starting filming some stuff. But for now, that is everything. So all we have to do to end this one is finish off the Virgil Build-A-Figure. Take front and center stage, Virgil. So we got the head, of course, from the Ridge Holland. Now, I said it's painted fine. It is painted fine, especially from a distance, but it isn't painted great. You can see if I hold it right up to the camera that this, and this happens quite often with Mattels, you can see that his eyes are actually printed on top of his eyelids. Especially that right one is very much a bit off center. The right one is starting to lean into the bridge of the nose, and the left one is just, it doesn't really look level. It looks a little bit higher up, and of course you're going to have a little bit of eyelid under the eye. But the idea is that it's so perfectly in the center, it's making my eyes go funny trying to look at it. The idea is that it's so perfectly in the center that it just kind of looks like eyelids, as opposed to it looking like the eye itself is disappearing into, you know, the cranial bone here. But anyway, other than that, it looks fine. We got the very, very slight dusting of a beard there. Great likeness of Virgil. Meat Sauce King right there. And we're just going to pop this straight on him. And there we go. Our Meat Sauce King Virgil is here. Another member is sorted for the $1 Million Corporation. I'm pretty sure I did this in a previous video, but I'll do it anyway. Let's test his joints. So, head is nice and sturdy. Shoulder goes out all the way. It's a little bit loose, but it's fine. Bicep swivel fine. Elbow is fine. Arm all the way out, all the way around. Bicep swivel's fine. Elbow is fine. Ab joint is a little bit loose, but it could be worse. Waist is really good. Legs fine. Knees really stiff. Really, really stiff. This really was a wave of stiff knees. Swivel's fine. The toe's fine. Oh, that was like the hardest knee I've ever seen. Yeah, boot's fine. Toe's fine. Toe moves. It's always good. So, that's everything for this. And next, up on NWOpenings, I will be cracking into, well, I might do Kama and I might do a few more wrestling figures first, but the idea of October and probably early November is that I'm finally going to enter the Blackest Night saga of NWOpenings and unbox my Black Lantern figures, starting with the Black Lantern Black Hand figure. And if, assuming I get that out before Halloween, which is the plan, the Halloween special will be the Necron mega figure from McFarlane Toys. But that is everything for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please do check out the end screen, the NWOpenings playlist for more unboxing videos. And like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. I really do appreciate you guys joining me. So thank you all for watching and goodbye. Freddy's coming back. He's fussing while I was setting the video up, so he's come back now. If I get the old magnifying glass out, you guys can see that if it focuses on the head as opposed to the magnifying glass. Camera doesn't want to work with magnifying glass today.